What did we just see with the Desmond Bane trade? 4 firsts for Desmond Bane is a wild overpay. Actually, bud, it was control of 5 first-round picks. But dude, that is not even the crazy part. What is Memphis doing? Win now teams do not trade one of their 3 best players. That's what rebuilding teams do. But how is a team with Ja Morant rebuilding? They're not. Unless something huge is about to happen. But the details of this trade are: the Magic got Bane, the Grizzlies got Cole Anthony, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, number 16 pick in the upcoming draft, number 26 first that's most likely come from Phoenix, 2 unprotected first from Orlando, and a top 2 protected swap from Orlando. Now, that's a lot. Of course, this could be the move before the move for Memphis, right? Like, they could now use all these picks to get another win now player or players, but there's a very good reason that it's not. We will get to that, but what about Orlando? So obviously a lot of people call this an overpay, but let's be honest. KCP just had his worst season in years. Cole Anthony is okay. This was all about the picks. And picks got way out of hand years ago when Paul George went to LA for control of 7 picks in SGA. But now even role players are expensive. I mean, Mikal Bridges cost the Knicks 5 first-round picks. So 5 is actually the going rate. Unless your name is Nico Harrison, then you're trading Luka Doncic for pennies on the dollar. But that's a different video. The only true valuable picks here were the number 16 this year and that 2026 pick. The other picks could be garbage, right? Like, the Magic obviously feel like this is now their win now window. So who needs their picks in 28, 29, and 30? They could be into the draft. But I love this trade for the Magic, if no other reason than their rebuild is over. And that has got to be a great feeling if you're a Magic fan, right? Like, for years, you've been mediocre, had Nikola Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, losing in the first round, then you're rebuilding for years. Now they are all in. No more draft picks or young players. This is it. Orlando is stepping up, right? Like, they want us to all think contenders in the East, Celtics, Pacers, Cavs, Knicks, Magic. But they did this trade because last year, dead last in 3-point makes and percentage. But Bane is the best shooter in Grizzlies history. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Outside of his rookie year, like if you take that out, then Bane has attempted 7 threes a game and made them at a 41% clip. Do you know how many other players in NBA history have a career like that? There are 2. Their names are Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. No joke. So Bane is an amazing fit to space the floor, give their 2 forwards, Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, more room to operate, and he allows Jalen Suggs to focus on defense and boost his offense as well with attention on Bane. But people were saying to get Trae Young. Remember all those rumors? Are you kidding me? At least Bane has a prayer on defense, and Bane might be one of the best leaders in the game. So why would Memphis give up on a guy like that? You know, that is the big question now. They found Bane with the last pick of the first round in 2020. It must have felt so good to see him shine in Memphis, like make their front office look real smart. And every time Ja Morant got injured through the years, Bane was there to step in and pick up the slack. But they obviously thought that the Ja, Bane, Jaren Jackson trio reached his ceiling, because it had. And if they're super expensive as a trio, you can't really build around them in this new CBA. You're stuck. So the obvious move was to break them up. So now, do they rebuild? Will they just retool? Because make no mistake, Memphis is now worse than they were last year, and they got badly swept in the first round. This cannot be the final move that they make. Well, back before this current CBA, we would have thought, oh, what stars Memphis going after with all these picks now? But I think the Grizz want to instead surround Ja and Triple J with depth, have Jalen Wells step into a bigger role after his awesome rookie year. Because you just look at these 2 teams in the NBA Finals and think the super team era might really be dead. So it's smart for Memphis to acquire quality role players instead of another star. But the big question is, are Ja and Triple J even a core worth building around? Now, to be fair, the Grizz heard all this noise and they immediately leaked, More star trades are not expected. Sources told ESPN that the Grizzlies are not looking to deal either of their two remaining franchise cornerstones. So no, this offseason, Ja probably isn't going to move. But this doesn't make his future more stable. Plus, dude just fired his agent. Ja is obviously unhappy about how things are going, and if they're in a bad position near the deadline, who knows if Memphis changes their mind. But obviously, it would be insane for them to trade Ja Morant. But why might it actually happen? Well, at the deadline, they dealt Marcus Smart to make room for Triple J's extension. And it made sense, right? Like at the time, they were 35-16, number 2 seed in the West. But afterward, they closed 13-18, fell all the way to number 8, and fired their head coach. Then they weren't even competitive against the Thunder. Is it crazy to think the front office is like, who are we kidding? We are not fine in the West anymore. We had our little run, back-to-back 2 seeds, but it's over. We have been going backwards for years. And against what is now like the cream of the West, the test in the West, OKC, we weren't even competitive. Like, we have to do something huge. Then they get this call from the Magic, and it's just way too good to pass up for Bane, so they pull the trigger. But dealing Ja would be tougher than people think, because it turns out injury-prone point guards who don't play defense or shoot threes, who have gun issues, are a lot less valuable than they used to be. All right, maybe in the 90s, that would have been okay, but not anymore. So odds for Ja's next team have come out, and the Raptors lead the way at plus 400. Then the Kings, Nets, Heat, and Blazers. What do they all have in common? They are somewhat desperate teams that need a young star like Ja to get to the next level. I'm actually surprised that the Chicago Bulls aren't listed there. But remember, Ja is not gonna get this massive haul that people think a guy with his status should get. But Jaren Jackson would get a superstar haul. Why? Because dude is looking for a max extension, but not yet. For now, he makes just $23.6 million, which is easily tradable. He shoots threes, which means he fits on almost any roster, and his defense is undeniable. The only problems are his injury history and his foul issues, but tons of teams would love Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, I'm not saying that the Grizzlies are definitely going to rebuild, but even if they kept Triple J and Ja, they might suck next year anyway, okay? Think about the West right now. You've got the Thunder. The Spurs next year will be good. The Rockets are here. Veteran teams like the Lakers, Warriors, and Wolves are all dangerous. Do you think a team built around like 50 games of Ja Morant next year is going to dominate? This could be the perfect time to tank with a really stacked 2026 draft class next year as well. So Shams might be right about the craziest offseason ever. This Desmond Bane thing was a blockbuster before the Kevin Durant trade even gets done. But maybe not Giannis. Dude has been trolling people on social media over his trade the last week or so. Will he ask out of Milwaukee or will he stay? Well, lately, things have gotten really weird.